75% of adults on SNAP work. These people just want to eradicate the poor. That's why they say vague things like it must end. SNAP recipients, 42 million, 10% are elderly, 31% are adults, 39% are children, 10% of the 13 million adults are, in air quotes, disabled. At least 11.7 million adults without a disability are on SNAP. This is a major problem. It must end. Bro, you need to see this? Yes, I saw, man. Oh my God. Haha, funny meme. 42 million Americans about to lose their assistance for food. And JD Vance is posting this shit. And the Republicans that are talking about this stuff are just like openly anti-SNAP. Like openly talking about how this is fucked up and we should cut it anyway. When you see stuff like this, understand that they are pro starvation of children. Okay? That's it. Just say it what it is. You are pro starving children. Good luck. Good luck to you. You're a animal. Actually, even an animal wants to feed its children. You're something beyond.
And Delta Airlines joining the calls for Congress to pass the Republican bill, saying Delta Airlines implores Congress to immediately pass a clean continuing resolution to reopen the government so that our air traffic controllers, TSA, and CBP officers charged with the safety and efficiency of our national airspace can collect the paychecks they deserve.
They're going to have to go.
I'm noticing that the worse people's conditions get, the more vicious they get to one another too. Like the more vicious they get, the people who want to like fix the problems, but they also get more and more vicious to those who have even less than them. As long as you have someone you can step on, you can feel superior, you know? That's good.
A second job, and you're going to have mass issues throughout the airspace. People will not be able to go from one place to the other because of the government shutdown, and I hope Democrats don't take it to that point.
A new Washington Post ABC News poll shows more Americans blame Republicans for the shutdown, but some here on Capitol Hill think Democrats are about to cave even as they push for expanded Obamacare subsidies. And we'll see. Here we are on day 31 of this shutdown. The record is 35 days, so this one could become the longest on record next week. Brian.
Wow, and it's getting so close to Thanksgiving, too. Thanks so much, Doug. Hey, let's go over just even this past week what's taken place. And this is why tempers are flaring. The Senate rejected the House bill for the 13th time. And we only had, I think, 3 Democrats without Rand Paul by.
Wouldn't it be the first time Democrats were party to keeping food from kids? Wait, what? Dude, this is the one time, man. This is the one time the Democrats are on the right side. Jesus Christ. I mean, I dagger them all day, every day, but give me a break. This is entirely the responsibility of the Republicans, okay? Calm the down. Jesus Christ. Sometimes y'all sound like you're how the liberals present us as, okay? Jesus Christ. Republicans are in power. They're refusing to concede. The Democrats are doing the right thing by refusing to fund the government until the Republicans come back to the table and give written assurances that the Trump administration won't actually just overwrite whatever congressional budget allocation that takes place by way of legislation. That's another point of contention in the shutdown, on top of the fact that they want to continue the ACA subsidies so that tens of millions of Americans are not priced out of their health care. And the Republicans are dangling the starvation of 42 million Americans, some of the lowest income Americans that actually rely on SNAP assistance, and dangling their starvation over this process to make people hurt even more, so that the Democrats will concede without getting any assurances that they will fund health care. That's crazy. The Democrats are objectively on the right side of the story, and I'm unconditionally defending them, at least for now. Okay? Until they do some shit. What a ridiculous set of circumstances.
Republican vote for it. So you need 5 more to get to 60 in order to get the government queued up again. So on Wednesday, the Congressional Budget Office reported that this is costing us overall between $7 and $14 billion. That's what the president sees when he gets back, and that's why he is so upset today. He's trying to rebuild the economy, put it on jet fuel, and now this happens. On Thursday, the remainder of the federal agencies will miss their first paycheck. I talked to a group of people the other day who work as staffers in Washington. They say it's tough every month just to pay for your rent. Can you imagine you have no money to pay for anything? Even a promissory note isn't really effective. It's affecting real people. You talk about the military. They stopped getting paid, but the president has found a donor for 1 week and other ways to pay him this week. So for now, the military is getting paid. On Saturday, this is really going to hurt, in various states especially. Some states have about 7% of people on SNAP programs, that aid program for food and basic staples. You have now SNAP payments not being issued. The WIC program will run out of funding this week, and open enrollments for ACA begins. And people are looking at it and saying, well, the Biden subsidies are gone. The pandemic is finished. The big, beautiful bill is queuing up. So this is your chance. These are your new bills for the upcoming year. Didn't the Democrats say the whole reason for their walkout was because of the Obamacare subsidies? Well, people are already seeing it. But I think the big picture, guys, is the reason why those prices are going up, the premiums are going up, is not because of anything the Republicans did. It's because Obamacare is not working. The subsidies during the pandemic put a Band-Aid on a problem that is now apparent for everyone to see. I'm not sure that people are getting that message, though.
Well, Lindsey Graham said that he thinks Democrats will cave next week, but Hakeem Jeffries says you're delusional. We're not, or he didn't say that specifically to Lindsey, but they were asking him, when will y'all fold? And he said that the Republicans are delusional for thinking that Democrats will fold. They call it a dirty deal, cold stone liars. But President Trump says this is all about the legendary Trump derangement syndrome. They just hate him, so they don't want to give him a win.
Well, they're trying to hurt him in the process as well, but they're hurting the country right now. Right. And when you talk to people, we all know federal workers that we know and care about. It's tough for them already. People, some of them living paycheck to paycheck. Do you really want someone that's an air traffic controller to have a second job when they need the focus to navigate the airwaves? Yeah. I just don't think it's smart at all. I do disagree with the president.
Yeah, what if they're on SNAP, big dog? What if they're on SNAP and the Republicans are refusing to fund it when there are contingency funds for it, and the Republicans are refusing to use the contingency funds, for example? What then? These people do not give a about the working class. I cannot stress this enough. They very clearly use every opportunity, every point to propagandize against the working poor. They despise them. That is their job. Republicans used to be much more overt with the way that they communicated the disdain for the working poor. In the last couple of years under the Trump administration, there was like more of a populist wing of the party, or at least they like kind of, they were changing the way that they communicate about the working class a little bit, because there was this exchange where the Republicans went from country club Republicans to the Tea Party Republicans, even though the Tea Party Republicans were still backed by the country club Republicans like the Koch brothers. But the messaging changed a little bit. But this is old school shit. This is old school conservatism, okay? This is the conservatism that I'm used to. This is what I saw when I was growing up. The open disdain for working class Americans. And of course, racism is the connective tissue there. They use racism and say, as black and brown people taking advantage of these subsidies in a fake way, in a fraudulent way. So white people who also take advantage of these subsidies and these programs will be more pliant about having them get taken away without realizing that they're actually advocating for their own demise. Other chatter is joking he's 46. Bitch, I'm 34.
And I think it's a bad idea to eliminate the filibuster, but I understand his frustration. It looks like they're not willing to compromise or have some type of debate or anything like that. They just want to hurt him in the process.
But I think that what he's saying is, hey, you did it for judges, but you kept the filibuster for legislation. Why don't we just do it for shutdowns? And that's where I think that Mitch McConnell's not going to go along with that. We know that for sure. Traditional Republicans don't. And also, I mean, they want hard to stop President Biden from blowing up the filibuster. We would have had 2 more states. We would have had a packed Supreme Court. Right. And Joe Manchin and Senator Sinema saved the day. So I understand the frustration, but I don't think that's necessarily a good move. I just think this. How about this? How about you get in writing, the OMB director will not blow up any of the programs, number one. How about you get in writing for the next 4 weeks, they will examine premiums and subsidies for Obamacare to see if they can fix it, because nobody wants to see families, and I think 70% of them, paycheck to paycheck, suddenly realize I don't have enough in my account. So that's something the president has always had a heart for.
But they've already
No, he hasn't.
tried to do individual bills. Let's just fund the military, get them their pay, or the federal workers. Let's just fund the SNAP. Let's do these individual things. And they're voting against that as well. So it's like, I don't know what type of compromise they're able to reach if you can't even vote on the basic essentials.
Well, we won't have an answer until next week for sure, because they're not in session
home,
today.
yeah.
They're home, and they won't be back until Monday.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart.